Between 1934 and 1938, the city of Cleveland, Ohio was gripped by fear. A killer was stalking the shadows, leaving behind horrors no one could explain. 13 lives were taken, 6 women, 7 men. Most were society's forgotten, vagrants and sex workers. Only 3 were ever given their names back. Every victim was decapitated. In some cases, the heads were never found. Not a single body was discovered whole. Most of the bodies surfaced near Kingsbury Run, a lawless stretch of land known as the city's darkest underbelly. The newspapers gave the killer a name, 2 names in fact, the Cleveland Torso Killer and the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run. In the 1930s, Kingsbury Run was a lawless shantytown, a maze of railroad tracks, makeshift shacks, smoke, and desperation. Many had no fixed address, no family waiting, no one who would report them missing. They survived day to day, begging, drinking, selling their bodies, or simply trying to make it to the next sunrise. Just nearby was the Roaring Third, a red light district of bars, gambling dens, and brothels. For the killer, this place wasn't chaos. It was opportunity. September 5th, 1934. Along the cold shores of Lake Erie, a passerby made a horrifying discovery. What washed ashore was not a body, but a woman's torso, headless, limbless, incomplete. Her skin was red and leathery, chemically preserved, as if the killer wanted the body to last. Over the next 4 years, more bodies appeared, near rail lines, factories, and riverbanks. Some victims were drained of blood, others were dismembered with chilling precision. One coroner reached a terrifying conclusion. These cuts were made by someone who understood human anatomy. As the months passed, the killer didn't slow down. He became bolder, more reckless. The bodies no longer appeared hidden away. They were placed where they would be seen. Victims were dumped near rail lines and beside factories, even within sight of busy streets. It was no longer just murder. It was a message. One body was found near a railroad police building, another shockingly close to law enforcement offices. The killer wasn't hiding. He was challenging the city. By 1936, Cleveland lived in fear. Newspapers reported on the murders almost daily. The city woke up each morning wondering, where would the next body appear? Police were overwhelmed. More than 1,500 people were questioned. Detectives went undercover as vagrants, wandering the shanty towns day and night. Still, no solid suspect. No letters, no confession, no mistakes, just bodies and silence. By 1936, fear had spread across Cleveland. Newspapers screamed headlines. Citizens demanded answers. The police were running out of time. Bodies appeared again and again, near rail lines, by factories, even in plain sight. The killer wasn't hiding anymore. He was challenging the city. Under mounting pressure, city leaders made a bold move. They called in a man with a reputation forged in fire. His name was Elliot Ness. Elliot Ness was no ordinary investigator. He was the man who brought down Al Capone, a symbol of justice, a national hero. But this case was different. No witnesses, no clear suspects. If Ness failed here, his legend would be forever stained. August 1938, 2 more bodies were discovered, not hidden, not buried, but placed in open view, visible from Elliot Ness's office window. It wasn't random, it wasn't careless, it was a message. The killer was watching, and he wanted Ness to know it. Cleveland erupted in fear and anger. Newspapers screamed for justice. How could the city's greatest lawman be mocked so openly? 2 days later, Elliot Ness struck back. He ordered a massive raid on Kingsbury Run, the shanty town where many victims once lived. Dozens were arrested, fingerprinted, questioned. Then came the decision that would haunt Ness forever. Kingsbury Run was erased, and just like that, the murders stopped. But the killer was never officially caught. Frank Dolezal was a laborer, a drifter, a man who knew several of the victims. When police ran out of leads, his name surfaced, quietly at first. Then suddenly, he was arrested. Under interrogation, Dolezal confessed. The city exhaled. At last, a suspect. But something felt wrong. His words were confused. The details didn't line up. Days later, the truth surfaced. Frank Dolezal had 6 broken ribs while in police custody. His confession was withdrawn. He claimed he was beaten. Before he could stand trial, Frank Dolezal was found dead. Officially, a suicide. He was hanging from a hook shorter than his own height. How does a man hang himself from something lower than he stands? No answers followed, only silence. Today, most investigators agree. Frank DeLazal was not the killer. He was another casualty of fear, pressure, and a city desperate for answers. The second and most disturbing suspect was Dr. Francis Sweeney, a trained physician hiding behind a collapsing life. Sweeney struggled with severe alcoholism and mental instability. His wife described violent behavior, long disappearances, and paranoia. He had medical skill. He understood anatomy, and he lived dangerously close to where bodies were found. Behind closed doors, Elliot Ness interrogated Sweeney in secret. No warrants, no records, only suspicion. Sweeney was subjected to a lie detector test. He failed, then failed again. Shortly after the interrogation, Sweeney committed himself to a mental institution, and just like that, the murders stopped. Years later, Elliot Ness received disturbing postcards, rambling messages, mocking words, believed to be sent by Sweeney himself. Francis Sweeney was never charged, never tried, never convicted. Yet to many investigators, he remains the most likely Cleveland torso killer. Despite mounting circumstantial evidence, there was never enough proof to bring anyone to trial. No confession that held, no witness who survived, no name that could be proven in court. After 1938, the killing stopped. No more bodies along the tracks, no torsos in the river, no headlines screaming in red ink. The files were closed. The case labeled Unsolved. 13 victims, a killer without a name, a city left with questions and no answers. Elliot Ness believed he knew who the killer was, but belief was not enough. Without evidence, justice could not speak. So the question still lingers. Was the killer truly stopped or simply allowed to disappear?